Hi YouTube, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another review of 90 Day Fiancé The Other Way, Season 3, Episode 10, Stop the Excuses. So we start off with Alina and Steven. They're back home at their apartment. She's asking him, where's your phone? Are you going to delete your social media? Delete it now, so on and so forth. And he says that he wants to look at his messages before he deletes his accounts. And then she looks at his phone and sees that he's been communicating with another female. And the communication is very suspect because they're calling each other by pet names, they're exchanging heart emojis, they are talking about coming over. Are you going to come see me? Are you going to come see me? Or however the conversation was going. And Alina was like, you know what? I don't think I want to be with you anymore. I think we need to end our relationship. So, next scene. He still hasn't deleted his social media yet. Now he grabs his laptop and I think he saves all of his pictures first and then he deletes his Facebook. His Facebook is gone. Alina says, well, don't think just because you deleted your Facebook that, things are hunky-dory between us and I'm going to start trusting you 100% and we're going to be where we used to be because I'm still upset. So to make her feel better, he decides to take her out for ice cream. So they go out walking and this is at night. They find an ice cream parlor. They order their ice cream. He buys her flowers. There's a man selling flowers on the street. So he buys like the whole entire bouquet of flowers that he was selling. And they're sitting down eating ice cream. He presents her with the gift, which is the Book of Mormon. And it has like a really cute cover. Like it's like the front and back is like in flowers or whatever. And there's a letter that he wrote to her. So he reads this letter and, he's trying to be very apologetic, very heartfelt, very genuine. And, next thing you know, she's smiling, she's giggling, and she's happy again. So he promises that he's not going to talk to any other girls again, that, she is his one and only. And she says that he still shows that he loves me and he makes me feel special. She accepts his apology. So all it took was some ice cream, some flowers, and a Book of Mormon. And that's what did it for her. Now she's back in the groove with Steven. So Steven has this elaborate plan. He actually wants to propose to her. And he kind of goes all out for someone like Steven. He really goes all out for this proposal. So he rents a boat, and it's a really nice boat. And he also rents those little, it's like a keyboard piano type of thing, like a little mini piano type of thing. And he has everything planned out. The captain is in on his plan as well to make sure that everything goes well. And his plan is to play her a song that he wrote on the piano and then to propose to her. And everything goes as planned. The day comes, they get on the boat, they're both dressed really nice. The boat takes them around wherever. I don't know if they were in a lake or an ocean or where they were at, but the boat takes them, I think it was the ocean. The boat takes them wherever. They get to pass by a beautiful waterfall, so they're enjoying the scenery, they're taking pictures, everything is really romantic. And then he takes her up on the upper part of the boat and he uncovers the little piano and she's like, oh my God, what's this? He sits down and he starts playing this song that he wrote her, and the lyrics are whatever they are, wasn't paying attention, but then there's a part in the lyrics where he's supposed to say something like, I want to marry you, or let's get married, or something about marriage. And every time he goes to the word marry, he acts like like there's something wrong with the piano, or he can't get the word out, or something about that word marry, right? And it's all planned. This is all planned. It's not a mistake or anything. It's just all planned that he kind of stumbles on that word marry. And then he just gives up. He stops singing, he stops playing, and he gets the ring. He goes up to her, gets on one knee, opens the box, and proposes. And she says yes, and she's happy, and she's really giddy. And I thought the ring was, it was a decent ring. I thought it was a nice ring. And everything is like wonderful. And they're engaged now. In his confessional, Steven got really emotional talking about, proposing to Alina and how much he loves her and how important she is to him. So in his confessional, he's like holding back tears and he seems really genuinely emotional about Alina. And in Alina's confessional, she says that the proposal was amazing. And so, I kind of was like down in the dumps with these people. Like, I was like, oh, this relationship is horrible. But maybe there's hope, maybe I need to give, Steven the benefit of the doubt. And, maybe this is what he needs to mature a little bit, grow up a little bit. Maybe this is what he needed. I kind of don't think so. About 90% of me thinks he's still about that BS, but we'll see. There's 10% of me that still has hope for Alina and Steven. So I wish them all the best. And that's Alina and Steven. We're done with them. Moving on to Kenny and Armando. So they're in their house, and I think they're going through their invitations to see who's RSVP'd. And Armando mentions to Kenny that his mother RSVP'd, but his dad didn't. So Kenny doesn't see it for the dad as far as whether or not he's going to come to the wedding. Kenny is like, he's not going to come to the wedding. He's not really supportive of, Armando's decision to be out and proud as being a gay man. Kenny feels like the father is Kenny's just not feeling positive about how the father reacted to Armando being gay and Armando being in a relationship with Kenny. So, Kenny doesn't really see it for the dad as far as that goes. Armando still continues to see the glass as half full and says, my dad has made great strides. The fact that I'm able to even go to him and we can even have a conversation about me being gay and about my relationship with you is, leaps and bounds above what I could have ever expected. So they go and have a meeting with the wedding planners. I think the wedding planners are these two guys who I think they are also either married or in a relationship, I think. So they go see the wedding planner. The wedding's going to be taking place outside. They're going to have an outside wedding. And what do they describe it as? It was like a wine country venue. That's what it was. And it was really beautiful. I could really imagine like the wedding really coming together and looking really nice. And I'm pretty sure that the pictures are going to be breathtaking in that venue. Now, what really gets me is that when Kenny and Armando greeted the wedding planners, they said, hola, hola, because, they're in Mexico. And TLC, for whatever reason, feels the need to translate the simplest words like hola, and on the bottom it says hello. Like, I'm pretty sure, the majority of the world knows that hola means hello. Okay, you don't have to translate that for us, TLC. So they discuss the details of the wedding. They're going to have a mariachi band. They're going to have dancers. They're talking about the details of the cakes. And it's going to be a 6-hour reception. And Kenny was like 6 hours because in the States, a reception that's like 3 hours is probably going too long. And so they tell him, in Mexico, we do it big. Our receptions, our parties can go on all night into the morning. So we do it big over here. And Kenny had specified to Armando, he has stressed over and over again that what he wanted more than anything else in this wedding was to have a moonlight. He wanted to exchange their vows at sunset. He wanted to have a sunset wedding ceremony. So he wants the ceremony to actually take place at sunset. And so the wedding planners are like, with the time constraints that we have, because everything has to end at midnight, it's going to be a 6-hour reception. So we're going to have to start probably around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and sunset is at 7. So we're not going to be able to do the sunset ceremony. And so Kenny is really disappointed. You can see it all over his face that he was really disappointed about that. And he was basically telling Armando, look, this is what I really wanted. You could have whatever you want in this wedding. We'll do whatever you want. But the one thing that I want, the one thing that I'm requesting is a sunset ceremony. And then Armando was like, well, babe, I don't think we can do it. I'm sorry. You heard what they said with the time constraints that we have and when everything has to end. They're still dealing with the whole COVID thing. So there's restrictions and we're just not going to be able to do it. And Kenny he didn't like the fact that Armando did not support him. Obviously they can't control when the sun sets, but he felt like Armando should have stood by his side. I mean, make it seem like it was a joint decision for them to have a sunset ceremony with the wedding planners instead of it being like it was all Kenny's idea and then Armando automatically sided with the wedding planners. Like, it's just not going to happen. So he wanted Armando to be more on his side, and maybe they would have, I don't know what they could have done, because if you're going to have a 6-hour ceremony, if you can have a 6-hour reception, you can't start the ceremony at 7 because then you're going to go past the midnight curfew. So that was a real issue for Kenny. And so They talk about that when they're going back from the meeting with the wedding planners. You know how Kenny expressed how he really wanted Armando to be more considerate of his feelings and wanted to stand by his side more, which I've already discussed that. Then Armando tells Kenny that while they're meeting with the wedding planners, he got a text from his aunt, which I'm assuming was his dad's sister, and the aunt texted Armando saying, "Your dad told me that." He said that he was not satisfied with Armando's life, but he will still support him because he loves him, and that he just wasn't going to attend the wedding. And he said, no, he didn't say about he wasn't going to attend the wedding. He said that Papa, his dad, was not satisfied with Armando's life, but will support him because he loves him. And his father wants him to still be very respectful at the wedding. And so Kenny's ears perked up and he asked him, well, what does that mean, respectful at the wedding? And Armando said, well, he doesn't want us to be overly affectionate with each other. No kissing, no hugging, no PDA. And, Kenny, no, he's not about that. Kenny has been out and proud for a very long time, since I'm assuming like his 20s. And he's already in his 60s, I think, or 50s. So he's been out for a long time, and you're not going to tell someone, you're not going to tell him that, you can't be yourself around this group of people. That's just not going to work with Kenny. That's not going to happen. So Kenny was like, no, we're not doing that. We're not going to do any of that. We're not going to change who we are. I'm not going to change who I am and how I, relate with you, how I act with you, because certain people can't deal with it. He says, it's not my problem. It's not your problem. It is their problem if they can't deal with us being affectionate in public. So he suggests that, okay, so that's where that ended. So then later on, Armando's talking to his mom, and the mom is saying that, I think he was talking to her on the phone or something. The mom said that, hey, your dad isn't going to come. He doesn't want to leave the house by itself. As if, the house is going to break down and cry? I don't know. And so Kenny says, you know what, you need to call your dad and talk to your dad about it, because your dad needs to be at the wedding. And maybe if he hears it directly from you, and if you can explain to him how much it means to you for him to be there, maybe you can convince him to come. So Armando gets on the phone with his dad, and he tells his dad, look, I really want you to be there. It's really important for me. I need your support in this. The dad is like, nope, I'm not going to come. Not interested, not doing it. So Armando continues, and he's like, I really want you to be there. And I thought, from the conversation that we had, that we made a lot of progress with our relationship. And I thought you were accepting of who I am. So by you not coming, it makes me think that, we haven't progressed as much as we thought. And the dad says, oh, yeah, I hear you, but yeah, I'm not coming. I'm not going to be there. And he's really adamant. He's very insistent on not showing up. Now, I am still holding out that the dad will show up. He'll make a surprise appearance, probably at the time that they're exchanging their vows. They're going to look in the corner of their eye, and they're going to see Armando's dad walking in. I really do think that this father's going to show up. And I think that's why TLC is putting a lot of emphasis on the whole thing of whether or not the dad's going to show up. And then the fact that the dad was so adamant, like, nope, I'm not coming. Nope, don't ask me. I'm not going to be there. I don't want to be there. I don't want to be involved. I'm not coming. Makes me think that that's like a red herring or whatever. Like, he's just trying to lead us down the wrong path to make us think he's not going to show up. But I'm pretty sure the father's going to show up. And if he does not show up, then me and him are not friends no more. So the dad says, you don't even really need me there because your mom and your sister will be there. You have support from them. So yeah, I'm not going to be there. And then Armando, he says that in his confessional, he says that if his dad doesn't show up, his relationship with his father is going to be over. So I believe that the father is going to show up. Don't prove me wrong, Papa. Don't embarrass me out here. Ariella and Benny. Okay, so it's the day of Avi's surgery, the baby's surgery. And I was surprised on how peaceful the baby was after the surgery, because I thought the baby would have been in pain. So they probably gave him some really good pain medicine, because after he came out of surgery, he looked perfectly fine. So the surgery's over. It was a 5-hour surgery. Ariella is very relieved that it's over, as any mother would be. And Before we get to the surgery, though, I gotta mention this. Before the baby had the surgery, or was it after? I think it was after the surgery. Yes, it was after the surgery. There's a scene where Ariella is talking with her mom and her sister, and they are really putting this idea in her head that you can't go back to Ethiopia. You need to. They want her to come back to America. They want her to stay in America. And the mother says that we need to find a way to get Biniam out of Ethiopia and for him to ultimately come to the US with you. So they need to figure out how to get him out of Ethiopia. I guess, that's his country, that's his homeland, that's where his all of his family is. I think that maybe Beniam doesn't want to leave Ethiopia, so they're trying to brainstorm on what they can do to get him out of Ethiopia, and I guess to eventually come to America. Trying to try to, I guess, butter him up to the idea of coming to America. And they're saying some really crazy things. I mean, they're putting him in a bad light. They're talking about how, he's just having a good time in Ethiopia without you. That he's surrounded by a lot of. The mother specifically said that he was surrounded by a dark force or dark forces, referring to his friends, and Ari says that, she wouldn't mind, and she's listening to all of this. She's absorbing everything that her mom and her sister are saying about eventually leaving Ethiopia. So she's considering, okay, maybe what I could do is I could convince him to live in Kenya because either they met in Kenya or they lived in Kenya for some time and then they moved to Ethiopia. So she's like, you know what, maybe I can convince him to go to Kenya and we can start fresh there because she really wants to remove him from this, dark element in Ethiopia because she says that his friends are not a good influence on him. His friends, some of them are married, but they're not happy in their marriages. And so they're out there living this single life and they're influencing Benny to be the same way. They have no respect for his wife, no, for his relationship with Ariella. And so they're like leading him down the wrong path. And I'm just like, if he's that easily led by these dark forces, these crazy friends of his, then how are you? I don't understand. He's just gonna find other crazy friends wherever he's at. If that's just too, anyways, let's move on. So she's been at home for 2 months now. 2 months. I was like, wow. I guess because the baby needed time to recover and all of that. So she's been at home for 2 months, and she says that she's been receiving text messages from Benny's family and friends saying that Benny's having these wild, crazy parties and she keeps on calling it her house, her home. So I'm assuming this is a home that, she is paying for, the home that she bought with her own money, I'm assuming. And then she says that Beniam's phone is linked to her iCloud account, so whenever he takes pictures on his phone, she can see them on through the the iCloud thing. So she sees all these pictures that he's taking, and he's taking pictures of these crazy parties at their house. She sees all these women in the house. She said that the baby's bed, his pack and play, he packed it up and he put it away, and she said something like maybe he's just trying to forget that he even has a son. Oh, the dramatics. And then she decides to call him on FaceTime. So she calls him and she says, hello, hello, whatever. And he's like, well, how are you? And she says, I don't even know why you're asking. So no, you don't even care. And she says, you don't care. And he's like, what do you mean I don't care? And she says, well, because you don't call. You don't ask about your son. And I'm thinking to myself, if that's the truth, that he isn't calling to check on them and he's not asking about the baby, especially after the baby had the surgery or even before, then that's really messed up, Benny. You're messing up big time. You really are acting like you couldn't wait for her to leave so you could go on and live this pseudo single life. I don't think he should have been in his home in the dark, with a bottle of whiskey, depressed, drinking his depression away, and curled up in a corner, bawling and crying and, crying out Ariella's name every night. But he didn't have to go the extreme opposite with the parties and the girls at the house and the homeboys hanging out all day and all night. And he didn't have to go do all that either. You go to work and you come back home and you wait for your family to come back home. Now, you can go out to the bar once in a while, have a couple of drinks, and then you come home. But the parties and having the strangers in the home, yeah, that would make anybody mad. That would make anybody upset to know that you're bringing in all these strangers, to their home when they're gone. So that's messed up, Benny. And I was rooting for you, but now I don't know. So she says, I know all about Oh no! First, she tells him that she says to him, and this is how the producers played it, from in the previous episode to make it look like she wasn't going to come back at all. So yes, she did tell Benny that she's not going to come back to Ethiopia, and of course, this is sort of reminiscent of his ex-wife because she also took the baby, went back to the United States, and never came back, and he never saw his son again. So when she tells him, I'm not coming back to Ethiopia, I was kind of like, I'm kind of choose your words a little bit wisely, Ariella, because you don't want to trigger him, and make this man lose his mind because he's going to think that you're going to do to him what his ex-wife did. So she says, I'm not coming back. She keeps on repeating this over and over. I'm not coming back to Ethiopia. I'm not coming back to Ethiopia. And then she says, I think we should move to Mombasa, Kenya. And she says, I need you, we need to get away from Ethiopia. You're surrounded by evil in Ethiopia. And yeah, I've made the decision that we need to go live in Kenya. And he's like, wait a minute, hold up. You made this decision. You didn't even discuss it with me. And I think she said, when I try to discuss things with you, you get upset. So he's like, you can't just decide things, without having a conversation with me about it first. He says, this is what makes you really bossy, because you make all these decisions. You don't include me in any of the decisions. You just tell me what's gonna happen, and I need to just follow along with it without giving you any of my input. And so she says, these are your options. You're either are going to Kenya with me, and we're gonna start a brand new life in Mombasa, or I guess the other option, she's not coming back. She says, or the other option is we can co-parent, which means I'm assuming co-parent from opposite sides of the world. Okay. But she's like, these are your two options. You're going to go to Kenya with me, or we're going to co-parent. And I guess she's trying to say, I'm not going to come back. And she keeps on saying, I'm trying to work with you. I'm trying to work with you because I'm giving you this option. I want to keep our family together. I'm giving us the option of keeping our family together. So I'm working with you because I guess she's trying to say I could easily just not come back and not deal with this at all and just live, happily ever after with my son here and you over there in Ethiopia. And who knows when you'll see us again. But I'm trying to work with you. Either we're going to move to Kenya or I'm not going to come back at all. So that's where that ended. I don't know what's going to happen there. How do I feel about her saying this? Well, Benny, you're stupid. Okay, because I don't know why you weren't aware that y'all's accounts were linked up and she was seeing everything you were doing. And you shouldn't have people at your house while your fiance is gone. The baby lives there. You have people running around all over your house. You don't know if they're going to break something, if they're going to steal something. Everybody gets drunk. Who knows what might happen? You're surrounding yourself with temptation. I don't know if he's messing with these women or not, because she did say to him, she was like, and when I get back or whatever, you're going to have to get tested because I don't know what you've been doing over there, behind my back. Okay, she's being very cautious. Okay, that's a very smart thing to say. But Benny, you're being real stupid. You're being stupid for even living like this because the way you would look so devastated when she left. I mean, I thought you were going to have a hard time without her. But evidently, no, life is gravy without Ariella. So I think it's a good, I guess it's a good option. It's better than her staying in New Jersey. He'll be back with his family. He'll be back with Ari and the baby. And Mombasa, I think, Kenya borders Ethiopia, I think. So he can travel back and forth to see his family. Oh, and then to top it all off, the person who was feeding all of this information to Ari about him partying and bringing people to the house and all the girls at the house, it was his own sister Wish, the one who couldn't stand Ariella. Excuse me, she's the one that was giving her the lowdown on what Benny was, her own brother. Now, I don't know if she was doing this because she felt sorry for Ariella and she felt like Ariella should know, even though this was her brother, or if she was hoping that Ariella and Benny would break up because she's just over Ariella. But I'm pretty Wish knows that if they were to break up, Ariella's already in America with the baby. So if they were going to break up, she's not coming back to Ethiopia. So then Benny won't see his son anymore and y'all won't see y'all's nephew. So yeah, Wish was the one who did that. And maybe because Wish was trying to tell Benny, hey, you need to stop all of this. I'm going to tell Ari. And he didn't stop and she told. Maybe that's what happened. But it seemed like Wish was kind of on Ariella's side when all along it appeared that Wish and Ariella were not, the closest of friends. Moving on, Ellie and Victor. Okay, so they're back in Providencia. They're fixing up the home. There's no water, no electricity. There's no phone. Ellie feels really pressured to be there because she wouldn't want to be. She doesn't want to be there at all. It's a really bad situation. It's a whole lot of work, and this is not what she signed up for. And so they're bickering a lot. They're bickering about, wet clothes. They're bickering about water. They're bickering about a lot of stuff. And the tension is really thick between them. And they're getting angry at each other. And he's very short with her, very short tempered with her. And she doesn't like it at all. And she says that he's being a real a-hole. And she says, I forgot how much of an a-hole he can be because, we don't spend time together. I'm in America. He's over here. So, the only time that they are spending time together is over the phone when everything is beautiful and they're saying a whole bunch of I love yous and I miss yous and I can't wait to see you. But now she's with him and they're going through this, devastating, traumatic event with a hurricane and fixing up the home. Now, she's inside deep, deep in the nitty gritty of a relationship. And she's like, yeah, he's a real a-hole and I don't like how he's treating me. So when everything is said and done, they're sitting around the fire on the beach. I guess they're taking a break from all the cleaning and stuff. And she tells him, what? I don't like how you're treating me. I don't like it at all. This is hard work for me. And, you're snapping at me. You're angry all the time. And I'm not feeling that. And he says, look, why don't you look at it from my point of view? I've been through a very devastating situation. I have almost lost my home. I almost lost my life. My mother almost lost her life. It was really, really traumatic trying to survive a Category 5 hurricane on this, tiny, tiny little island. So you need to consider what I've been through as well. And she's like, well, you need to consider what I've been through. I've left everything I've owned, everything I know in America to start this new life with you. And I'm dealing with something that I really wasn't prepared for. So they both need to basically be sympathetic to each other, listen to each other, be more caring, be more gentle with each other, and just try to understand each other better and use better communication skills. But it seems like, that they're on the right path because they're having a discussion about it. They're talking about it. And they seem to be like two decent, intelligent people. So, hopefully things are going to work out for them. I don't know what the solution is going to be, how this is going to go, because she doesn't want to be in Providencia. He doesn't want to leave Providencia. So we'll see what happens with Ellie and Victor. Moving on, Sumit and Jenny. Jenny's sick. She's sick as a dog. She's got diarrhea. She's vomiting, so it's coming out of both ends for her. So the next morning when the parents wake up, they ask Sumit, where's Jenny? And the mom was already early in the morning. She was ready to go on Jenny. So she says to her son, where's Jenny? And Sumit says, well, Jenny was really sick last night. She was vomiting. She had diarrhea. And the mom was like, I didn't hear anybody vomiting. I didn't hear that last night. And I'm like, okay, mom. Okay, not everybody is a loud vomiter. So she says they're having breakfast. Mom, they're having breakfast. Sumit and his parents are sitting outside having breakfast. And the mother says, well, this is really disrespectful of her because we're sitting here and she's, in the bed enjoying herself, sleeping late, so on and so forth. So, yeah, this ain't cool. And so Sumit says, well, Mom, Jenny was really sick and she's recovering. And so the mom in her confessional talks about how, when she's sick, she still gets up and does her housework duties. She still gets up and does what she needs to do. She says, I could be vomiting, 10 times worse than Jenny, and I'm still taking care of business. So she vomits one time, has diarrhea one time, and she's all laid up in the bed and she can't move. So these people literally go into her room, while this poor woman is trying to recover from having this really horrible night of sickness. They go into her room. The parents walk into her bedroom and they're like, what are you doing? And she's like, I'm resting. I was sick last night. And the mom was like, get up. You got work to do. And I'm just like, okay, now I know. Okay, I knew in last episode, but now, Mom, you're making it really obvious that you're here to make her life a living hell. Leave this woman alone. Let her try to heal. Okay, she's up there in age. It's probably gonna take her a little bit longer to feel better. Leave this woman alone and let her try to get better. And Sumit, tell your parents to get off her back. This is your future wife. She's sick. Let her rest. Sumit, tell your parents, Mom, Dad, look, I understand what you're trying to do. I appreciate it. You're trying to make sure that she's going to be a good wife for me. Totally appreciate it. I love you for that. But my fiance was sick. Just let her rest a little bit longer. Let's see how this plays out. But the mom was like, no, she needs to get up, take a shower, blah, 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 do this, do that, because they got to do yoga. It's important that they get up to do yoga. So Jenny actually gets up. I would not have done it. I would have been like, y'all got me messed up. Y'all better get the hell out of my house right now. I'm going to call the police on you people. Y'all leave me the hell alone and get the hell out of my damn room. That's what I would have said. So the mom says, I came here for a task and I'm not going to leave until I accomplish it, which is to run Jenny back to America. Mama, was that your goal, your end goal? So, so she has to get up, go outside, and to do yoga with the parents. Like, where the hell is Submit? How come Jenny's the one sweeping and cleaning, making dinner? What are you doing, Submit? Anyways, so she's outside with his parents. They're doing yoga. They're doing all the poses for yoga. Now, the mom, I would not have known, but that woman was on point with her yoga. She was so flexible. This woman was doing all kinds of yoga positions. It was remarkable to watch. And the mother was like, because she used to teach yoga, so she was really good at it. So she was like, me and Jenny, we're the same age, and she can't do nothing and Jenny was struggling. Jenny was really stiff. She was struggling. Her face got really red. She could barely do any of the poses. She tried. So let's give her credit for that. Jenny did try. She looked like she was going to break a bone, but she did try, and that was good. Then it came to the part where, and needless to say, that in her confessionals and between all of this, the mom is just dragging Jenny through the mud, saying the most awful things about her. One of the things that she said was that she was rusty. Jenny was rusty during the yoga, that she has no strength in her at all, and that, her age was really showing, and that, her age was really showing. So after they do the yoga, then the father was putting drops of mustard oil inside the mother's nose. So she was like, I guess on her knees or something with her head tilted back, and the father was standing up in front of her and dripping drops of mustard oil down her nose, and it was like draining to the back of her sinuses, nostrils, or whatever. And Jenny was like looking at this like, what in the world is going on here? And the father said that the mustard oil gets rid of the particles in your nose. And Jenny was just, traumatized by this. Then they take something called a neti, N-E-T-I, which is like this long, thin tube, and it's like a rubber tube, and they insert it through their nose to the back of their throat, open up their mouths, grab the other end of this neti, and now part of it is sticking out of their nose, the other part is sticking out of their mouth, and they're like moving it back and forth to where I guess it's cleaning out your sinuses or something. So the mother does this. I'm holding my phone so I can't even properly demonstrate, but it's like one part of it goes through your nose, the other part comes out of your mouth. You grab the other end from the back of your throat, you pull it out of your mouth, and so this thing is like part of it is out of your nostril, the other part is out of your mouth. You grab both ends with one in each hand, and then you move it back and forth to where it's cleaning out, I guess, the back of your throat, is cleaning out your nostrils, is cleaning out your sinuses, all that gunk is coming out. And so they both do this, the mom and the dad, and then they want Jenny to do it as well. And Jenny is just horrified. Jenny looks like she's witnessing a murder scene, like she's witnessing somebody being chopped up. That's how horrified she looks. And she was like, I'm not doing that. No. I don't know if they came with several netties or they were sharing the same netty but just rinsing it off. I couldn't quite figure that out. I kind of felt like they were using the same netty between the mom and the dad. I don't know if they had a third one for Jenny or a second one for Jenny. And she was like, no, we're not doing that today. And then the mom was like, well, this is what you need to do. If you did this, maybe you wouldn't be so sick and laid up in the bed all day and you'd have more energy. And yeah, that was bizarre. That was bizarre. That was really bizarre. So, yeah, there's still tension between between Jenny and her mother-in-law. And so, yeah, that's not going to go well. Moving on. Evelyn and Corey. So they're sitting outside oh, Lord. Corey's skin. My God, he looked burnt. Corey, I'm going to need you to take a break from the sun. I'm gonna need you to start with some aloe vera or some type of I'm not quite sure what because I don't have those problems. I'm worried for you, Corey. I'm worried about your skin. He was so burnt and red. Wow. I understand that. I know you're not sleeping outside. What are you doing, Corey, all day long? What are you doing all day? You need to take a I need you to take a break from the sun. I need you to go spend some time inside under the shade or something, for about a week, maybe 2 weeks, and get your skin together because it looked painful how red he was. So him and Evelyn are talking, and they're having a conversation about their relationship, and oh my god, obviously he's so sorry. And she talks about, well, and the reason why Evelyn, I guess, when they had that meeting with the therapist, how all that emotion came out of her and she was crying and talking about how Corey wasn't there for her when she got into her accident and how he chose to be with the other woman, and then revealing that he was having an affair, finally admitting to the truth that it wasn't like a one night stand where nothing really happened, but it was like a full blown relationship where a lot was happening. And after he came clean with all of that, and she got so emotional, and she was saying, I think that the reason why she got so emotional is because Evelyn is so used to holding things in, because she always wants to appear like she's tough and that nothing is bothering her and that she's above all this, emotional stuff. And so she holds a lot in, and that's the reason why all of it came out the way it did. Anyways, so, she says that when they got together, her and Corey, and then obviously when they got married, she says that she felt like he wasn't, like he took her for granted, basically. He took her for granted. He wasn't doing all the things that he did to try to get her because he already had her. So, like the romance, the acts of love, the effect, all of that stopped because he's like, well, I got you now, so I don't got to try anymore. And she says, if we're going to get back together again, you need to fight for me again. You need to show me that you really want me to be with you. And basically, just don't take advantage of me. No, don't take me for granted. Not advantage. Don't take me for granted. That's all she wants. And he's like, yeah, I promise I'll do all that. And so, she goes, you're going from pillar to post. So, and she says, well, can I come stay with you? And she's like, well, yeah, come stay with me. But you're going to sleep in the room next to my room because you're not, she doesn't want him back in her room. And she says, you're going to stay in the room next to mine. And then maybe, once or twice a week we can have movie night. And she says that she really loves Corey, that he's been there for her through her best and her worst. He's been the one that's been there for her. So they're going to, make it work. They hugged and they kissed, and let's hope for the better. I just need them to make up their mind of what they want to do. And yeah, that was basically the end of 90 Day Fiancé. It was short and sweet. I still kept this review way too long. Ooh. Anyways, so go ahead and like if you like this review. And if you really did like it, go ahead and subscribe. And I will definitely see you again later. Bye.